Alright, here is the video review for Mastermind Creations R-43 MORS, aka Helix or Helix, or I'm not sure how you say it, from the DJD, a big vehicle, big square, bulky, what we in the profession call a big beaver. He's honestly, like, he's not nearly as heavy as you would expect. I mean, he's not light, but for a figure this big, he's not nearly as weighty as I would have expected for a figure this size. He is very, as you can see, large. Just look at that. This is my standard setup. You can see he's filling pretty much the whole screen here. He is very big, and he's got some little rolly wheels. And I'm not sure about these hands here. We'll talk about these arms in a minute. This looks like where it's supposed to be based on the instructions, although when it came, these were folded up here behind these treads, like up into this body cavity here. So you can do it like that, or you can do it like this, but we'll get to it. I'll actually show you that point in the instructions real quick. It just said, so that's the comic. Here we go. Nope. The step right here, it just says flip arm, or not that arms. Here we go. Flip up small arms, and it shows the arms going down here. There's one arm going down to the tread, and here's the other one coming up. Which, like I said, confused me because when mine originally showed up, in the packaging, these are flipped up to their robot mode positions, and you can leave them there like that too. Personally, I think that looks a little better, honestly, just having them up here. But these are flipped up, and the arms were folded up inside the core. They weren't flip up like that. But the instructions said to flip them up from here, so I put them back there when I was turning it back into into vehicle mode. But his cannons can kind of raise up, but that's really about what you're getting here in vehicle mode. Just a big, chunky tank. And it's impressive. It's impressively large tank. To transform him, there is just a smidge of parts forming. And that is, you gotta pop these off. There's a little clip here, and move them to the back position. Just like that. And then these panels right here open up for the backpack. They were plugged in right here. Now you can move them back up here if you want them to sit higher in robot mode, but they'll be fine just like this. So lift those up, and then pop these panels right here all the way up and around, which will free this whole piece up, and you can kind of angle these pieces down as well from the feet. And then this piece right here, it's a little squeaky. You can see there's some tabs here on the inside, folds up and tabs into place right there. And now we start to see the feet and the arms and everything coming together. So the feet here, or the arms here, untap them from this little tab and then fold this up into the arm like that. And again, untap it from right here, fold that up like that, and then come around to the bottom. We'll go ahead and lift these small arms up as shown in the instructions. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of them here in the frame. And it says to rotate these arms up like this. You can do it now, you can do it later, but flip those up and around like that. On the legs, go ahead and flip the feet all the way out and around. And then you flip the toe around, but there's also a hinge in here. This comes up and back to sit more along the leg. Flip up the heel. Same over here. Like this. And then unpeg the legs here from the side of the body. And then these little tabs right here fold in. I think this is actually a later step, but there you can fold these tabs in. And they can seal right up there. They snap together right up in there and hide in this crotch. Come down here and bring the legs, kind of rotate at this hinge, rotate everything down a little bit. And then once you get some clearance, these treads individually slide down on each side and click into place. And then you can extend and straighten the leg, bring up this little knee piece here. Like that. And then it's just a matter of orienting the foot there within the leg. And same over here, rotate it down. And then once you got the clearance, snap that down, and then flip that out and extend the leg. Just like that. There are his big, chunky legs. Spin them around, and we'll come up a little higher. here to his upper body. And then rotate the legs. You can actually unhook the backpack here a little bit. Rotate the legs around so they're facing forward, so the little pink dots there come together. And then open up this panel like this. And then these treads fold up. So yeah, so here's where, when I got him, these arms were folded up. They were facing the other way, and they were folded up around with the hands kind of going through those openings back there, which seems to be, one, a safer and more compact way of storing them. There's a dual hinge there within the vehicle mode. But it is a little bit more of a pain to wiggle them out and get them around everything. Oh, we popped off a hinge cover there on the inside of the arm. I see where it goes. It's right there. It's just a little screw cover. Nothing even broken. It's not even glued on. It's just friction held in place there. But yeah, but rotate his arms around so as the elbows work. There's his little arms. And then these treads, much like on the Iron Factory version, fold up here into his chest like that. And then these panels, actually before you do that, and this can be a bit of a pain. Also, those holes that I just put the hands through back here help a lot when trying to get these back up going to tank mode. You can kind of push from the back and get them going. If you can get the right leverage on them. But yeah, flip that around and up and around like that until this piece becomes even. Let's get his arm out of the way here so I can push this tread forward. There we go. Just gotta kind of get it moving. Flip that up like that, and then fold these in. Snap them around like that. It's coming together. Rotate this piece around on its hinge and then slide. It helps to kind of grab it from the edges here and push up on this middle piece because you can see how it kind of slots into place. There's some tabs here, but if you just try to pull it from here, you're not getting the leverage you need to pop it open. So I found that if you put your fingers right here on this black stripe and then put your thumbs right here under the silver piece above the gold piece, like right here, and then just push it apart is the easiest way to get that done. And then you just rotate his head around, and then this is now going to plug in. You fold this down and in and plug it in there. Oh, we should go right in there like that. So there's two places it can plug in. It plugs in right underneath the gold piece for vehicle mode, right in there. And then you want to make sure it plugs in right here, right the closest to his head when robot mode. And then you just fold this up and tab it. There's a tab on here and a tab here that goes together. And it can be a little bit of a trick to get it lined up just right between the treads. But once you do, it should snap right in. And he's coming together. Once you get that, this whole assembly with this piece already attached lifts up and tabs in back here, which raises this up behind his head a little bit. We'll straighten his legs here in a minute, don't worry. And then these panels right here with the arms. Oh, that looks... There's a hinge there. It looks like... Oh, that's just... Okay, that's just... Never mind, it's just the tab. It looks like that this piece was supposed to rotate out. But you bring this up, and again, that tab right there clips into place. I don't know if you saw it on the armpit there, but the black tab, this little black tab clips into a slot here on the dark gray piece. So rotate that up and around and clip it into place. And we're getting there. Oh, here we go. Helps you make sure to bring his knee pieces out so you can get the legs to stay straight there. And then on the arms, there's some little panels here on either side. And it's hard to find the line, but it's not the whole arm piece. It's like the line's right along here and right along here for this piece, and not the gray piece. The gray piece is part of the wrist. So open those up, flip his fists out, close that back up. And his fists, his thumbs on a ball joint, and then a hinge, and then another hinge up here. And same with the fingers, except they've got 1, 2, 3 hinges on top of where they're connected into the body. And then a double wrist swivel there. And same on this side. Just getting him, excuse me, getting him started. It's a little rough there. But yeah, so he's got big posable fingers that can move side to side. And then all those little hinges. So he's got very posable hands despite only having, he's got like Ninja Turtle fingers. But there is MORS in robot mode. And he is a very large boy. Now, like I said, if you want to, you can, this is where the back position on the cannons. If you want them to sit up higher, you can put them back up in their original vehicle mode position here. Although it might interfere with the shoulders a little bit, but if you want them to sit a little higher, there's one extended versus down low. I think they look fine down low where they're intended to be, but if you want to just give them a little bit more of a dramatic silhouette, you can move those guns up a little higher on his backpack. So he's got a ball joint head here. I mean, his head's a little softer than I would prefer, and maybe it's just because I've been playing with the Iron Factory one, which has a much more squared off head. It doesn't look wrong. It's just a little rounder than I was expecting. But I like the way the visible treads are in here. He's got the dual hinge arms, which are swivel hinge here, a rotational hinge, dual hinge at the elbow. He does have ball jointed wrists, and I will show that off in a minute. Oh, and I forgot to extend his arms. That's a big important point. There we go. Now he's a big beefy boy. So yeah, he's very large, and you can see his feet down there. So yeah, and then now he's got the angled. He's got some little bit of side to side there. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got dual hinge elbows on his main robot arms. He's got the wrist swivel, all the articulation in the hands. We already showed the articulation here. He's got dual hinge hips, a thigh swivel, dual hinge knees, a lot of articulation there in the foot, both in the toe and in the heel, and a little bit of ankle tilt, although it's kind of blocked by the treads. And then the range of motion in the shoulders. But all in all, just a really nice, solid, big guy. Now, I mentioned the ball joints on his hands. Those are his open, kind of grasping hands on his small arms. He does come with some fists. If I can get this little baggie open. There we go. It came in just this tiny little Ziploc bag. But he's got some closed fists as well. So if you want to, you can just pop one of these fists off, or hands off, pop the fist on. I don't know if one or the other is better. I mean, I feel like this might be, if you're going to store the legs or the hands in the treads like the instructions show, these might be a little better because there's not a loose, thin finger to get caught or snap on anything. Because you can see there are these fingers here on the edges are separate, but it's entirely up to you. Personally, I think he looks more dynamic with the open hands in robot mode. But, you know, your call. He does have fully posable hands here, so if you just want to, maybe he can hold a robot like this and then just like super punch him really fast with his little fists. I don't know. What you do with your toys and how you play with them and what scenarios you come up with, that's all your business. I hope you have fun with them. Even if it's just put them on the shelf in a cool pose, that's fine too, if you're enjoying them. But really big, and Tesserus is even bigger. So like this guy's pretty beefer. Like I said, you get the instructions in the comics. Here's a little bio tech spec card here. There's the stats if you're curious. Here he is. This is the only other one of them is I have, and he's Synicus, and he's missing some parts because so much of his stuff just, I mean, even here you can see crack right there. So much of his gray piece is just, he's missing his thumb, like this hand you can see is just barely holding on there. I should probably glue that back. Synicus just did not hold up very well. But you can see the size difference there for I don't know what I was going to say there. I started to say something and then forgot. I don't have Tarn currently, but here he is with Thunderclash, which used the Tarn base mold, just to give you an idea of how. I mean, like, it's not just that he's tall. I mean, like, he's just wide. He's a really massive robot. He's not the biggest robot I own by far, but he's a good chunk. And just for the fun of it, here he is with the aforementioned Iron Factory version. Just to give you a scale there. So he's big, he's bulky, he is MORS from MMC, R-43 in their reformatted line. Personally, I think if I could only keep one of them, I probably would keep this guy, only because, look at this guy, I can pick him up with my hand, he's cool, he's still big and bulky, and he forms, he's a combiner with the other DJD, which is neat, and I can actually carry him around and play with him. This guy is really is still fantastic for a big display piece. If you want the DJD in all their full glory on the shelf without any of the compromises that you need to make a combiner, even though I think Iron Factory did a really good job of minimizing those, this really is a nice, big, chunky dude, and looks cool. Just even as a standalone, he's big. I like him. But there is MORS from MMC, and thanks for watching.